the world is mourning the loss of a true Motown legend, the Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin. She passed away today at the age of 76. Franklin was surrounded by family and friends at her home in Detroit. Her legendary career spanning decades, and she will forever live on in the Motor City. People from around the world and all over the community are giving an outpouring of love and support for this iconic singer, our Aretha. Franklin's publicist released a statement from her family saying, quote, "In one of the darkest moments of our lives, we are not able to find the appropriate words to express the pain in our heart. We have lost the matriarch and the rock of our family. The love she had for her children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and cousins knew no bounds. We've been deeply touched by the incredible outpouring of love and support we have received from close friends, supporters, and fans all around the world. Thank you for your compassion and your prayers. We have felt your love for Aretha, and it brings us comfort to know that her legacy will live on. As we grieve, we ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time." Certainly understanding, and just heartbreaking news to Aretha's fans all over the world and here in Detroit. We want to take a look back at the Queen of Soul's life and legacy. And respect she has earned from fans the world over. Her 1967 version of Otis Redding's song Respect became an empowering anthem in the feminist and civil rights movements, and one of her biggest hits in a career spanning nearly 60 years. She's one of the best-selling artists of all time, with a searing, soulful voice like none other. She was born in this house in Memphis, Tennessee on March 25, 1942, the daughter of a Baptist minister. And when Reverend C.L. Franklin and his wife Barbara moved to Detroit a few years later to lead New Bethel Baptist Church, the gospel choir would never be the same. Music was in her blood. Her mom was a pianist and vocalist. Sadly, she died just before Aretha's 10th birthday. A difficult time soothed somewhat by music. Aretha learned how to play piano by ear then. In 1956, at just 14, Aretha would record her first album, Songs of Faith, at her home church. At 18, with the support of her father, she launched her R&B career, signing with Columbia Records, and would become one of the giants of soul music. The 18-time Grammy Award winner was the first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in '94, with Kennedy Center honors to follow, along with the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2005. She made Motown proud again when Detroit hosted the Super Bowl at Ford Field in 2006, sharing the stage with Aaron Neville and Dr. John. Shortly before that appearance, Franklin sat down with our Diana Lewis for a one-on-one interview.
Originally, you weren't too pleased with the NFL. We didn't have really local representation and performances, and we have a musical legacy here.
Detroit is a city of musical legends, just from one name to the other.
The city.
Aretha, Smokey, Diana, Martha Reeves, the Marvelettes, the Temptations, you know, just on and on and on, and the names never stop. How could you come to Detroit and not pick one of these names?
Her pride in Detroit was steadfast, whether she was courtside rooting for our Pistons or paying for meals for those in need on Christmas Eve. She's a Detroit gem and an American treasure. You could have heard a pin drop when she took the podium at President Obama's first inauguration in 2009. In more recent years, health problems prompted her to cancel concerts and appearances. But she rallied for the national anthem at the Lions Thanksgiving game in November of 2016. And for a free concert in Detroit last year, headlining the launch of Detroit Music Weekend in June, where she was honored with a street in her name. An emotional moment for our Queen of Soul.
It's a dream come true. What a magnanimous honor to bestow. After coming up in the streets of Detroit, the Flame Show Bar is where I started at 17. Of course, Detroiters have been with me all the way. And I've been with them.
Music royalty from the D, who touched a chord across the globe. As President Obama said in 2015's Kennedy Center honors, American history wells up when Aretha sings.
Amazing grace.
The Queen of Soul's music will live on.
How sweet.
That voice, I tell you what, we'll be hearing tributes and her voice many times over the next days. Prominent leaders and activists, of course, are also remembering the iconic singer, Aretha Franklin. And we want to send it over to 7 Action News reporter Kim Gregg, who just recently spoke with the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Kim, what did he have to say?
And he had some very heartfelt words to say about his longtime friend, Aretha Franklin. She had been, as you know, at her home here, surrounded by close friends and family for days, gravely ill. And her longtime publicist, Gwendolyn Quinn, announced that Miss Franklin passed away at 9:50 this morning, and Reverend Jesse Jackson was here at her home today.
Our hearts are heavy. I've known Aretha almost all of my life. Earth has lost a lot of music today. Truly the heavens rejoice. We thank her for her serving, for her singing, for her sharing, for her caring so much.
Absolutely. What do you want people to remember about your friend?
A singer servant. In addition to being the talent of singing, I remember she sang before the Pope in Philadelphia not long ago. But she kept much singing for Albertina Walker, the Caravans, a small church in Chicago. She was a people person.
And what do you think people don't know about Aretha? Something that might surprise them? Anything about her personality or anything?
I think it's an open book. Aretha never left her church roots, never left her family roots. She never stopped sharing. People care that you have, but they care more that you share. They care that you know, but they care more that you share. And she never stopped caring and sharing. I remember that the most about her. Her singing, it speaks for herself. A caring, sharing person who could cook.
All right. And Aretha's longtime publicist also saying they have been deeply touched by the outpouring of love and support they've received from close friends, supporters, and fans all around the world. And I think Aretha said it best herself. Detroiters have been with her the whole way. Reporting live in downtown Detroit, Kimberly Craig, 7 Action News.
And she always was with Detroit. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm live right now outside New Bethel Baptist Church, where Aretha's father was a much beloved pastor and where she sang in the church choir. And I want to bring in our Matthew Smith. You have been here for a while now this morning, talking with mourners. And what have you seen? What have they had to say?
Well, honestly, it's just been a little bit more painful as the day continues. Moments after the news broke of her death, I mean, so many people were just starting to react in just that disbelief. But now we've kind of gotten to that point where you're seeing a little bit of everything. More and more people continue to gather around here. As Alicia said, this is the place that really started it all for her. Her gospel career started right here in Detroit at this church. So we've seen mourners. We've heard music, people stopping by and blaring it. And we've seen just a lot of pain. And in fact, honestly, some of the sights we've seen just tears you up inside. This man simply grabbed a seat, sat down, and listened to the Queen of Soul's words. Her lyrics echoing outside the place Franklin's father called home as a pastor, same place she got her start as a singer. You know, Aretha was more than a gospel singer. She was an inspiration to the people I've been talking to. And that man you saw talking about Aretha's past, his past, it just hit him so hard.
I met Aretha. I must have been about 5 or 6 years old. And she gave me a little trinket, a little silver dollar. I didn't know who she was. I later on went in the military and done my service and all that. But in my time in the military, in my trials and tribulations, I listened to her music, and she brought me back home to Detroit without being in the body bag.
You know, in a time like this, what can you do other than turn to music? And so many people have been turning to that music. You know, Alicia, just a little bit ago, I heard another woman listening to music, blaring it from off in the distance, from the top of her building. And I invited her to come down, and she told me, she's like, this is a generation. She was the voice, and if you were a woman, you heard her voice, and you were empowered, right?
Yes,
and I think every woman out there right now, and maybe even some of the guys, they remember that hairbrush and singing into it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime voice, and really a human being that we're all going to miss here in this area.
Absolutely, and she will be remembered forever. Her music, the tributes that are pouring in, and we want to check in now with our Allie Hoxley because she is at Hitsville, USA, where people are also gathering to honor and remember our Queen of Soul. Allie?
Well, right now we're live outside the Motown Museum. You can see there's plenty of people here remembering Aretha. Even though she was never a Motown singer, it's hard to come here and not reminisce on this time and reminisce on her stardom. And that's why the Motown Museum is doing something to remember her this weekend. They plan on playing Aretha hits throughout the weekend, so you can plan on hearing songs like Respect and Natural Woman. And they'll also have a guest book inside the museum for people to sign, send their condolences, and they plan on giving that guest book to Aretha's family. Now, we've also been out here and been able to run into some people that say that they had the privilege of meeting Aretha and possibly even getting to know her. I spoke with a man who said that he had run into her before, that she used to greet him while he was at work, and she will be remembered not only for her genuine personality, her class, but also her style.
For her stunning dressing, she was one classy lady. Her hats just stood out. But her personality, just Aretha. Just Aretha. They only made one Aretha, and we're gonna miss her.
Now, again, if you do want to come here this weekend, they'll have a guest book ready here for people to sign, and they plan on giving it to Aretha's family. Alicia, back to you.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Allie, live at Hitsville, USA. Right now, you're seeing a group of reporters surrounding the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Our Kim Craig spoke with him earlier today, but he's spending some time with Pastor Robert Smith, Jr., who is the lead reverend here at New Bethel Baptist Church, where Aretha Franklin grew up. You know, she was born in Memphis, Tennessee, but before the age of 5, her father was already leading this church here, and she and her two sisters were singing in the choir. Now, I want to share some more of the beautiful tributes that are pouring in from people all over the world. The impact widely and deeply felt. Many people reacting on social media. Of course, 7 Action News reporter Jennifer Ann Wilson is live in the newsroom with more on that. Jennifer Ann.
Well, Alicia, it's tough to keep up with all of the tweets. They are coming in so fast. And here are a few. We'll start with the President of the United States. President Trump said the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, is dead. She was a great woman with a wonderful gift from God. Her voice, she will be missed. Smokey Robinson tweeted, this morning, my longest friend in this world went home to be with our father. I will miss her so much, but I know she's at peace. Hashtag Queen of Soul. Bob Seger on Facebook wrote, what an otherworldly talent, legendary, right up there with the greatest singers ever. She will be greatly missed, irreplaceable. Jeff Daniels tweets, we lost a giant. hashtag Aretha Franklin. And John Legend said this: "Salute to the Queen, the greatest vocalist I've ever known." Hugh Jackman wrote, "One of the highlights of my career was singing with Aretha Franklin at the Tony Awards. It was an out-of-body experience for me, one of the greatest singers of all time. You will be missed by all." Shonda Rhimes writes, "Remember when she stepped in last minute for Pavarotti at the Grammys and just shook us all to our core and made us question the universe by singing Nessun Dorma. R.I.P. Aretha Franklin." Reverend Al Sharpton says, "Deeply saddened by the passing of a beloved friend and Queen warrior, Aretha Franklin. Her contributions are legendary, both personally and societally. We hope you'll take a pause today to remember the life of a beautiful soul." And of course, her music is legendary, but as we've heard so many express, it's the way she touched people that has made a lasting impact. Reporting live here in the newsroom, Alicia.
Lasting impact indeed. Thank you so much, Jennifer. And of course, all of us here at the Channel 7 family are remembering Miss Aretha Franklin. We will have much more coverage for you ahead, along with some of your local headlines. Again, today we honor and celebrate Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. Today we are remembering the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. She passed away today at the age of 76, and of course her legendary career spanned decades, and she'll forever live on in the Motor City. We're going to have more coverage in just a few moments, but right now we want to get to some of our local headlines with Anu Prakash back in the studio. Anu.
Alicia, thank you. Michigan State Police will have extra patrols along I-696 from the Novi area to Telegraph today. They're going to be looking for drivers who are breaking the law. Since MSP has been getting complaints, troopers will be looking for aggressive drivers who can't seem to pay attention to the road and those who are not buckled up. So what is an aggressive driver? Well, according to AAA, it's speeding in heavy traffic, tailgating, cutting in front of another driver, or running red lights. The extra patrols are put in place until 5 o'clock tonight. A man is seriously injured after he was shot outside of a gas station in Roseville. Police responded to the Sunoco on 12 Mile and Gratiot just before 6 o'clock this morning. Police say a 30-year-old man was waiting for a bus when he was shot. The man was not able to see who the shooter was or provide police a description. Surveillance video shows him running across the street to get help at a nearby Starbucks.
I think he was in a little bit of shock, and Roseville Fire Department paramedics transported him to a local hospital.
He remains in the hospital at this hour and was last listed in temporary serious condition. Still ahead on 7 Action News, continuing coverage on the passing of the Queen of Soul, coming up with Alicia right after this. Stay with us.
Motown is mourning the death of Aretha Franklin. She passed away at 9:50 this morning at her home in Detroit, surrounded by family. And former 7 Action News anchor and longtime friend of the Queen of Soul, Diana Lewis, is joining us now on the phone to share some thoughts and help us remember this legend. Diana, what's your reaction today?
Alicia, and good afternoon, Detroit. I am so full. If you could see the picture that I have in my eyes right now, I am pulling into the African American Museum, and I'm looking with my 2 granddaughters and my 99-year-old mother, whom Aretha would always send love and blessings to. We're pulling in to go in and to have a photo op of my picture being inducted here. And not only that, I have been asked by the Public Relations Department here to sit down in the gallery here at the museum and do an interview about Aretha, to share my thoughts. My thoughts about Aretha Franklin are personal. We laughed and talked about girl things. We both share a birthday in the month of March, mine the 17th, Aretha on the 25th. We did family more than we did anything. The world knows that Aretha Franklin's voice set the tone of how life should be. RESPECT, respect. And it started with Aretha with her family. I have met so many celebrities through Aretha, knowing Aretha, but probably the most important of all, oh, Johnny, excuse me, we just went across and a gentleman darted in front of the van that we were in. This is life and this is news and that's how it happens. But most importantly of all, each member of her family, her son, Eddie, a beautiful songwriter and dancer, her granddaughters, and the two of mine, Audra and Cameron, are sitting here with me as they're going into the museum to watch their grandmother take her place. I'm so full right now, and I've tried maybe for the last hour, and having the opportunity to come back on my station, Channel 7, and to express my feelings, and with my buddy, you, Lisa, we have been so close over the years, and my daughter Glenda will be on at 5 o'clock, and hopefully Glenda and I will share together. But today is my day, Aretha's day. Heaven is singing because there's no greater angel with the best voice in the world in heaven today than Aretha Franklin. I am saddened by her death. I will miss her because I loved her dearly. She gave the only parade, the beautiful party, and what I loved about each party she gave, she would always say, Aretha surrounded herself with the people she loved. And the fact that over decades, I was invited with my family and my husband, Glenn, to attend her party meant that I was special in her heart, that she loved me. I love Aretha Franklin. I love her family, and I'm here for them. I'm back in town on Monday, Alicia. Anything that the family wants me to do, please notify Channel 7, notify my daughter, Glenda, and I am there for the Franklin. I'm pulling up to the museum. They're waiting for me here with Cameron, and I will hopefully send my interview. Then I sit down and talk about my dear friend with Channel 7 viewers this evening.
Oh. It's such an honor to talk with you, Diana, today it's a sad day, but it's also a day of celebration, and to hear your personal comments about your friendship with her, it really was such an honor. We appreciate it. And of course, the Channel 7 family is right there with you. If their family needs anything, we want to help out. Diana, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. God bless you, and God bless the Detroit public. God bless
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Honor to speak with Diana Lewis, one of the legends from WXYZ. And here we are right outside New Bethel Baptist Church, where Aretha grew up singing in the choir, where she recorded her first album. And the clouds overhead, Kevin, they are cloudy. It's almost like Mother Nature's shedding a tear with us as well.
Yeah, it's been a cloudy day. We've had rain off and on all day, and the rain's been light now. So I've been tracking showers here through the morning and this afternoon. The showers continue, and more rain actually on the way right now. There are more organized showers still to our southwest. So the rain has been light today so far, and overall it should stay light to moderate this afternoon. So I don't think there are going to be a whole lot of thunderstorms that we're dealing with today, primarily rain showers off and on. But more on the way, moving across Monroe and Lenawee counties now, moving from the southwest to the northeast. So have an umbrella with you. You're going to need it still through the rest of this afternoon. Into this evening, the chance of showers will continue. And once the sun goes down, the chance of rain will go down, but there may still be a few lingering light showers still through the overnight hours as well. I think we stay in the 70s today. It's around 73 right now, 79 degrees for the high temperature today. And that would be only the third time we're staying in the 70s going back the last 51 days. So nearly 2 months. We've only had 2 days in the 70s, and today likely will be another one of them. So occasional showers through the rest of this afternoon, and then tonight, fewer showers, but still a few lingering overnight through the overnight hours. 70 degrees by tomorrow morning, and the rain chances tomorrow, low in the morning, a light shower possible, but a better chance of more showers, and I think a few thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, and the chance of rain will continue through at least 10 p.m. now tomorrow. So a few showers in the morning. This is the futurecast into the afternoon. Slight chance of rain through about 8, 9, 10 p.m., and then drying out Friday night. And then Saturday should have dry weather this weekend. Highs around 84 degrees. Alicia, right now, I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Right now, we have been joined by the pastor here at New Bethel Baptist Church, Robert Smith, Jr. And first and foremost, we're so sorry for your loss today. What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I'm thanking God that she was a Christian. She had faith. The last time I visited her, she said, I'm going to be all right. The church is going to be all right. Now, that's a statement of faith, because faith is not what you know, it's what you don't know, and live as if though you did know. So that great statement of faith gives me comfort That today was not the end of her life, but the beginning of her life.
So many people saw her on stage, and they're playing her music today. We're hearing people as they're driving by, and it's a beautiful tribute. But you knew her, the personal Aretha Franklin. I mean, she was a dear friend, a longtime supporter of her church. Her father was the pastor here. What do you think is something people don't know about her that you would like them to know?
I'd like them to know that she loved God. She loved the church, but most of all, she loved her daddy, and she did everything to keep her daddy's name alive.
And it was a sad situation when he was shot years ago, and he lived in a coma for several years. But she's a very private person, did not talk about that so much, but I'm sure, you know, her faith in God helped get her through.
Well, that's the reason I'm here. After he was in a coma for almost 2 years, 18 months, many of the members grew disgruntled, and they wanted to get another pastor in, but everybody wanted the nomenclature pastor. I'm a missionary. Most of my work has been in Haiti and foreign countries. I never wore the nomenclature pastor, excuse me. And so I came up, and for 2 years that I was here, I was simply the co-pastor to Reverend Franklin, who was in the coma, and we still had the nomenclature, Reverend C.L. Franklin, on all of our stationery and everything.
So obviously, a very difficult day for you, but one you knew she was prepared for.
I believe it in all my heart, with all my heart.
As the Christian that she was. And she continued to come back here. She sang every August, right?
Every August or any other time. You never knew what she was going to do. I guess you would say she was a rather capricious person who just, on a whim, she might call and say, here, here's $10,000 for the church to feed the hungry. Or she might say, Reverend Smith, I want the church for such and such a day. What are y'all having? And I would tell her it makes no difference. She's the queen. I'm in the queendom. And whatever the queen says, that's what goes.
Right. So she was a very giving person. I mean, she would help feed the hungry on Christmas Eve. There were so many philanthropic endeavors that she was a part of. And the fact that she was just down to earth, she would still come back and worship with the people at her home church.
She would mingle among the people and eat. You can sit down and eat oxtails with her.
Now, I know her health was declining over the years. Did you know that the end was coming?
Yeah. Well, every time you saw her, she had lost weight. If you look at the Obama inauguration when she sung there, and then you look, you know, just down.
Her impact was just tremendous, and we will be celebrating her for years to come. Thank you so much, Pastor. We really appreciate it, and we're thinking about you and your congregation right now because I know this is a difficult time for you as well.
All right.
Thank you. Already we're looking at people leaving mementos, balloons, cards right outside here of New Bethel Baptist Church, which played such an important part in her life, also her musical career, because it all began right here. And I'm sure more people will be coming here and paying tribute as well. We'll be right back. Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul, passed away at the age of 76, 9:50 this morning, surrounded by friends and loved ones at her home in Detroit. And we understand that she passed away from pancreatic cancer. She was very private about her health struggles over the years, but we certainly are thinking about her family and her loved ones at this difficult time. The NAACP released a statement saying, every now and then God sends us a beautiful melody. Melodies create within a song that which lingers on. Aretha Franklin was a melody. Her song may have ended, but the melody of her life will linger on. We remember Aretha Franklin. Please join us for later editions of 7 Action News and online at WXYZ.com and our 7 Action News mobile app as we continue to honor and celebrate the Queen of Soul.